The night they told me to go live in the streets. My phone slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor. Not because I was shocked, because a part of me finally broke. "You're a man," my father said without even looking up from his plate. "You'll survive?" My mother nodded like she was approving a grocery list. Calm? Final. My sister sat on the couch behind them, legs crossed, scrolling through her phone, already sitting in my room in her mind. "We need your room," my mother added. "Your sister needs space. You're old enough to figure things out." I laughed. A quiet, ugly laugh. "I pay part of the bills," I said. "I built that room with my own hands." My sister finally looked up. Smirked. "Don't be dramatic," she said. "It's not like you'll die." That sentence stayed with me longer than anything else. They gave me 2 hours. 2 hours to pack my life into a torn backpack while my childhood home watched in silence. The walls I painted. The switch I fixed. The door I repaired when my father slammed it during his rages. I stood at the doorway one last time. My mother didn't hug me. My father didn't shake my hand. My sister locked the door behind me. Outside the air was cold and smelled like dust and rejection. I slept on a bus bench that night. No blanket. No messages. No missed calls. That's when I learned something terrifyingly important. When you have nothing left, fear leaves first. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. I worked jobs people don't brag about. Night shifts, double shifts. Jobs where supervisors don't learn your name, because they don't expect you to stay alive long enough to matter. I didn't complain. I didn't post sad quotes. I didn't go back begging. I became invisible, and invisible people, so you see everything. One night, while cleaning an office building, I overheard 2 men talking about real estate. Foreclosures, missed payments, properties bleeding value because of bad decisions. Something clicked. I started learning, quietly. Obsessively. Podcasts during shifts, books from trash bins, notes scribbled on receipts. I saved every dollar like it was oxygen. While my sister redecorated my room, I slept beside vending machines. While my parents laughed in the living room, I learned contracts, loopholes, timing. Pain sharpened me. Then one afternoon, months later, I passed by the old neighborhood. Their house looked the same. But I noticed what others wouldn't. A past, "Do notice" tape slightly crooked near the mailbox. I smiled for the first time in a long while. Not because they were struggling, but because they had no idea who was watching them now. I walked past slowly, hands in my pockets, heart calm, mind surgical. "You'll survive," my father's voice echoed in my head. I whispered back to the empty street. "Wow, I'm doing much more than that." And that was the moment the plan truly began. The kind of plan that doesn't scream revenge. It waits. It grows. It buys silence. And eventually, it buys everything. I didn't rush it. Revenge that's rushed feels cheap. Loud. Obvious. I wanted mine to feel like gravity, slow, unavoidable, crushing. I didn't go near them again for months. Instead, I built a new life so quietly that even I sometimes forgot how much pain started it. I moved from cleaning offices to managing them. From managing to consulting. From consulting to investing small amounts where others were too scared to look. I learned how debt breathes. How banks lose patience. How families lie to themselves right until the door gets knocked down. And my parents' house. It was bleeding. My father had taken a loan he never told anyone about. Tried to invest. Lost it. Then borrowed more to cover the first mistake. Pride stacked on pride until it became a mountain he couldn't climb. Every month they were late. Every month the bank smiled thinner. I still remember the day I got the call. "Yes," the agent said casually, "the property on Elm Street is approaching foreclosure. Are you still interested?" Elm Street? My street? My house? I looked at my cracked phone screen and saw my reflection, older, sharper, quieter. "Yes," I said. "Very interested." I didn't buy it directly. That would have been poetic, but sloppy. I used a holding company, clean name. No history, no emotions, just paperwork and patience. The bank didn't care who I was, only that I had the money and fewer questions. When the auction date came, I sat in the back. My parents sat near the front, holding hands like scared children. My sister was there too, whispering angrily, dressed well but nervous. She kept checking her phone like someone might rescue her. I didn't look at them much. I didn't need to. The numbers climbed, then stalled, then died. Sold, the auctioneer said. I didn't clap. Neither did they. They didn't know yet. Not who, not why. Just that the house was no longer theirs. The call came 3 days later. Unknown number. I let it ring twice before answering. Hello? My mother's voice cracked through the speaker. Older than I remembered. Smaller. Please, please tell me this is you. I closed my eyes. Who is this? I said calmly. It's your mother, she whispered. They're taking the house. We don't know what to do. Silence stretched between us. Then I said it. I know. She inhaled sharply. Yes, I replied. I bought it. The sound she made wasn't a cry, it was worse. My father grabbed the phone. You did this, he snapped, trying to sound strong, failing. After everything we did for you. I almost laughed. Instead, I spoke slowly. You gave my room away. You told me to live in the streets. My sister shouted in the background. This isn't funny. I smiled. Oh, I said softly, this isn't a joke. They begged. My mother cried? My father blamed me? My sister insulted me like old times, then switched to pleading when insults failed. I let them speak. Because power feels best when it listens. Finally I said, you can stay. Hope flooded their voices. For now, I added. As tenants. The silence that followed was delicious. I'll send the lease, I continued, market rent. No exceptions. My father exploded. You ungrateful, I hung up. The first eviction notice went up 3 months later. They were late. Again. I showed up in person that time. Calm smile, keys in my pocket. My sister opened the door. She froze when she saw me. You, she said, like the word tasted bitter. I replied. I'm the landlord. My parents stood behind her, smaller than I remembered. I walked through the house slowly. My house. My room was painted pink now. Posters on the wall. My sister's mess everywhere. I touched the doorframe. Still solid. Funny, I said quietly. I built this. My father swallowed. What can fix this? I looked at him. Really look, no, I said. You can leave? They moved out the next week. No screaming, no drama, just boxes, defeated eyes, quiet shame. I watched from across the street as they locked the door one last time. The same door they locked behind me. Later that night, I walked into the empty house alone. I sat on the floor of my old room. No bed, no posters, just silence. I didn't feel joy. I felt as peacey. The kind that only comes when the past finally stops chasing you. I stood up, locked the door, and turned off the lights. Because the revenge wasn't about owning the house. It was about owning my name again. And I wasn't done yet. Not even close. The city didn't celebrate when I reclaimed the house. No applause. No music. Just the low hum of streetlights, and the quiet click of a lock turning for the last time. I didn't move in right away. That would have been sentimental. Instead, I renovated it slowly, methodically, like a surgeon reopening an old scar to remove something rotten. I repainted the walls the same neutral color they'd once chosen. But this time I chose the shade. I replaced every door they slammed. Every fixture they ignored. Every corner they took for granted. I erased them from the structure without destroying the bones. Meanwhile they unraveled. I heard things. People talk when they think the story is over. My father's pride collapsed first. He couldn't say my child owns my house out loud, so he told people a stranger cheated them. A scam. A technicality. Anything except the truth. My mother aged 10 years in one season. She took shifts at a bakery far from where anyone knew her. Flour on her hands. Shame in her eyes. The same hands that once packed my bag without hesitation. My sister moved between couches like she was house surfing, still dressed like she owned rooms she no longer had. She told people I'd gone crazy, that I was obsessed, that I needed help. Funny. I'd never been more clear. One afternoon, I saw her by accident. A cafe near my office. She was sitting by the window, phone in hand, rehearsing confidence for someone who wasn't listening. She laughed too loudly. Checked her reflection. Adjusted her jacket like it mattered. I walked past without stopping. Her eyes met mine through the glass. For a split second, she smiled, automatic, instinctive. Then she realized. Her smile died. I didn't look back. That night, I got an email, subject line, "We need to talk." I didn't reply. Power doesn't chase closure. Weeks later, The city council sent me a notice. Zoning update, property tax reassessment. The house's value had jumped. A lot. I laughed alone in my apartment. The house that once pushed me into the street was now funding my future. I rented it out, not to them. Never to them. To a quiet family who treated walls with respect and paid on time. I visited once a year. Just to make sure it stayed mine. But the story didn't stay contained. It never does. My father showed up one night. Unannounced. Drunk. Smaller. Angrier. Standing under the flickering hallway light of my building like a ghost who forgot how to haunt properly. "You think you won," he slurred. I didn't invite him in. I didn't need to. I said calmly. "That actions finish what words start." He laughed bitterly. "You were nothing without us." I leaned closer, voice low. "And you were everything until you weren't." He looked at me like he was trying to remember where he lost control. "I raised you?" he said. "No," I replied. "You housed me. Then you removed the roof." He left after that. Didn't apologize. Didn't threaten. Just left. That was the moment I knew the revenge had settled into his bones. My mother called months later. No tears this time. Just exhaustion. "I didn't protect you," she said quietly. "I see that now." I paused. Regret hits hardest when it arrives too late to matter. "I hope you're okay," she added. "I am," I said. And I meant it. My sister never apologized. She tried once to manipulate. To charm, to reclaim ground she thought was hers by default. She showed up at a networking event I was hosting. Dressed sharp, smile practiced, confidence borrowed. "You look successful," she said. Pretending the past was a misunderstanding. "So do you," I replied, knowing it wasn't true. She leaned in. "We're family?" I took a sip of my drink. "Family doesn't throw people into the street," I said softly. "It throws them a rope." Her face hardened. "You enjoyed this?" she snapped. I tilted my head. "I endured it." "There's a difference." I walked away while she stood there, surrounded by people who suddenly realized she didn't belong in my orbit. After that, the calls stopped. The past finally learned its place. Years passed. The city changed. I changed with it. I bought more properties. Built something solid. Quiet. Durable. The kind of success that doesn't beg for validation, because it doesn't need witnesses. Sometimes late at night, I'd think back to that bench. The cold metal. The weight of the backpack. The sentence that started it all. Go live in the streets. I did. And the streets taught me ownership. One evening, I stood across from the house again. The same one, lights warm inside. Life continuing. I didn't feel anger. I felt completion. Not because I destroyed them, but because I refused to be destroyed. I walked away slowly, hands in my pockets, footsteps steady. Somewhere behind me, a door closed. And this time, I didn't need to look back. I stood on the sidewalk one last time, across from the house that once decided my worth with a single sentence. The windows glowed softly. Laughter leaked through the walls. Someone else's life lived safely inside what used to be my exile. I reached into my pocket and felt the keys. Not because I needed them, but because I remembered when I didn't have them. That night, years ago, when my phone shattered on the floor and my parents' voices pushed me into the dark, they thought the story was over. They thought removing a roof would erase a person. What they never understood was this. You don't destroy someone by abandoning them. You forge them. My father lost his authority long before he lost the house. My mother lost her peace the moment she chose silence over protection. My sister lost her power the day she confused entitlement for strength. And me. I lost everything that could be taken. Which meant nothing could ever be taken from me again. I walked away, not fast, not dramatic, just steady, grounded, finished. No music swelled, no audience clapped, no final confrontation waited. Because real revenge doesn't shout. It doesn't need witnesses. It doesn't need forgiveness. It doesn't even need them to understand. It just lives well. Somewhere behind me. The city kept breathing. Ahead of me, my future stayed wide open. They told me to go live in the streets. So I did. And one day, the streets handed me the deed.